All right. Thank you, Lucy. Thanks for having me here. I'm going to start my session. Okay. Could you confirm you see my main screen where I have the slide open?
Yes, we can see that, Rajesh.
Okay. All right. Welcome, everyone. Today's webinar is going to be about Webby versus Crystal reports. Now, we have gone in depth about, what are the differences in Webby, what are the new things coming up in Webby, where Crystal alone can be used separately. But I'm going to discuss something new where we want to emphasize on which reporting solution is good for each and every use case. Now, both are great reporting solutions because Crystal reports and Web Intelligence both come from the same parent company. And when you talk about the integration of their old tools, such as desktop intelligence, set analysis, the conversion strategy that SAP pointed out was, okay, there will be two reporting tools in the BI portfolio, which is Crystal Reports and Web Intelligence. Now, while Crystal Reports is one of the products where it was a separate company from Crystal Decisions, and then BusinessObjects purchased it, but Web Intelligence was developed and released by SAP BusinessObjects, and then it came as a part of SAP. So there were two separate companies, and both are now owned by the parent company, which is SAP. Now, every company or organization has specific needs for its enterprise-wide information. There is a common need for a tool that can offer reliable access to the information, and then you want to organize it, you want to publish it, and also provide analysis capabilities. So that's the reason we are looking into specific use cases between these two tools itself. Now, whether to use Crystal or Web Intelligence, it depends on several determining factors. But the main factor is your actual user base. The actual questions one need to ask are what are the type of users that you're delivering these reports to? Whether they are entry level or power users, maybe the number of users who will be developing the reports, or number of report consumers who just want to review the report, refresh it, see the data, and then move on and do their other things that they do day to day. So these are the main things that you have to decide when we talk about, okay, what are the type of users that we have in our user base. Now, prior to SAP acquiring BusinessObjects, there was this core SAP ERP customers. And for them, the reports itself, they didn't have sophisticated reporting tools. And that's one reason that SAP purchased BusinessObjects as well. This is 12, 13 years ago. For core ERP or SAP customers, you had only the BEX Analyzer or the Web Application Designer. Now, although these reporting tools are providing some basic functionality or reporting, but it lacked user friendliness. It did not have the advanced reporting capabilities that you experience as designers. So that's one reason that SAP acquired BusinessObjects, that way that customers can get more choices in terms of the reporting factor itself. About Crystal Reports. Now, Crystal Report is well known for pixel perfect reporting. And from here, it's easy to consume. It's highly, highly formatted, meaning it's really pixel perfect, meaning you exactly define the margin, define the exact place where you place a certain object, which font do you want, where exactly it needs to be placed. And I'll show you a sample report. And when I say a Crystal report, these are mainly letters or anything that's formatted as invoices. These are all made in Crystal reports in hundreds of organizations today. Now, even BusinessObjects or SAP wouldn't know that how widely Crystal has been used, because Crystal can be a standalone installation without any BusinessObjects software. You can buy a Crystal desktop license. It's a Windows-based application, so you can install it on your desktop. You can build a Crystal report by connecting it to an ODBC connection. You don't need a BusinessObjects BI platform. And you can have a .NET programmer or a Java programmer embed your Crystal report into their application. So it can be used for your custom app development. And I'll get back to custom apps specific to Webby and Crystal itself. So that's where Crystal stands as a pixel perfect reporting solution. Now, when we talk about Web Intelligence specializes in highly formatted reports, but not pixel perfect reports. And we have this ad hoc reporting capability. And that's where the connectivity to a BW Cube or a HANA view or the universes that you do, the semantic layer that you build in BusinessObjects, you can easily drag and drop the objects that you need. It creates the SQL at the back end. And that's where the fact that it's web-based results in report objects being placed in specific areas in the report page. You can place anything on a report page. There's no proper structure to it. There's no relationship between the objects that are placed within a Webby report. You can keep it separate, and you can have your Webby report that looks like a dashboard, which is not possible in your Crystal report because it comes with a certain structure and other stuff. The next thing we need to take care about is the data sources itself. Now, if you look into the web intelligence part, these are the overall features that a Webby report can offer. Like you can connect to universes, your data files, your BEX queries. In terms of formatting, you can have your charting, you can have your ranking, linking, drill down reports. You have your input controls, groups, you have comments and shared elements that was introduced in 4.2. So these are all like the different features within web intelligence. And when we compare this with the data connections Crystal reports, it's still on par with what web intelligence does. And even though it's like an older tool, I mean, Crystal reports has been in existence for more than 25 years now. And it has its native ODBC, JDBC connections. It has connections to universes as well. For UNX universes, there's another version of Crystal report, but technically, yes, you can have your business objects universes connect to Crystal reports as well. And another deciding factor would be like the slice and dice capability or the drill down hierarchies that you want to have within your report. Now, one potential drawback of Crystal reports is that it is not free form as web intelligence. It is meant to create like structured reports that are frequently viewed offline, meaning once you design a Crystal report, the things that you would do is like you will burst it or like distribute it into multiple divisions, multiple stores, whatever your distribution hierarchy is. And these can be letters or PDFs or like Excel files. So these are mostly consumed offline. You wouldn't have many users log on to a BI Launchpad, refresh a Crystal report, and then view this online. They would usually download the Crystal report and they view it offline. So the users who create the report, the Crystal report itself, need to have some familiarity with the Crystal reports. There is a steep learning curve if you want to start as a Crystal report designer, or if you want to even edit a Crystal report that's already in existence. But Webby gives you that self-service information access. It's easy to learn web intelligence. You can come in, you can drag and drop things, you can create ad hoc queries, reporting, dashboarding, and being able to slice and dice the data is critical for your informed business decisions that you want to make, like which one would suit which type of an application. And then the most important or the powerful feature that Crystal Report has is like embedding that in your custom application. Crystal Report Designer software, even though it installs locally in your desktop, even with Visual Studio, there is a report designer that's embedded, which is your Crystal Viewer. It's a free software, which is embedded with Visual Studio when you pay for your Visual Studio license. So that way your developers can leverage this. I'll show you one example where we used certain reports. For example, we used city government, one of our clients who's using Crystal Report, where we send this boot and toll letter, the permit letters. Everything is automated through our business object system, but it's embedded into their Crystal.NET application. No connection at the BO, even though they had a BO server, we kept it as an embedded application into their parking application itself. It's a .NET-based application where they can trigger a database connection to the Crystal report itself. Now, can web intelligence be used in a custom application? Yes, there is a possibility that you can use or you can expose your web intelligence as a reporting solution for your custom apps, but still it requires a business objects license. You need a BI server, you need a web intelligence processing server to run your Webby reports. Now here are the different ways you can consume Webby. You can expose your Webby features using REST web services. You can use your OpenDoc links. OpenDoc links are applicable for Crystal reports as well. So if you have a Crystal report in your BI Launchpad, you can expose it via OpenDoc link. And Webby can be used as an embedded applet as well, or you can customize the Webby user interface so that you can remove the SAP branding towards the web intelligence. So here are some of the elements or what you can do with the REST API. I've included documentation on like how you could embed Webby using the REST API. This is the OpenDoc link structure. You can use a document link from here as well. I have a sample document. And then this is information on the Webby embedded template and customizing user interface. Now, the other thing that you need to look into for migrations is that if you have an older version of Crystal report, how do I migrate? In other words, if you're in PO 3.1 or 4.1, 4.2, and now you want to migrate to 4.3, what are the things that you need to consider if it's Crystal or web intelligence? Now, for Crystal, we don't have any issues in terms of migration. Either you have like Crystal 9, Crystal 11, or Crystal 2011, 2016, and now we have like Crystal 2020. The migration is going to be straightforward. You upgrade your system, you open it up in the new designer, it's going to work the same way. But with the web intelligence, the calculation engine is different with 4.0 and 4.3 or 4.1 and 4.3. So it requires additional testing if you're doing this report migration with Web Intelligence. Now, there is another direction shift with SAP where you can, they mentioned that, you can move your things to SAP Analytics Cloud. Now, where does this Webby or Crystal solution stand in terms of the SAP Analytics Cloud? Now, here is a slide which is from SAP's roadmap. So SAP Analytics Cloud, which is like a SaaS-based solution, and it's a BI solution that SAP provides on their cloud. You can access your universes and Webby documents as well as your Crystal documents in SAP Analytics Cloud. So your on-premise SAP Business Object System can deliver a data source for your SAP Analytics Cloud. And for this, Crystal Report and Web Intelligence, they work exactly the same way. The methodologies are different, but they do act as a data source for your SAP Analytics Cloud. For example, in Crystal Report, you have to schedule the Crystal Report in a certain way, and there is a SAP Cloud connector that you need to install. And with that, you can start your cloud journey by leveraging all your Crystal Report calculations and everything into SAP Analytics Cloud. And for Web Intelligence, you need to be on a certain version of Business Intelligence, like BO 4.2, SP7 or higher, and Analytics Cloud 2020-21 higher. So that way you can bring your Web Intelligence as a data source to Crystal. So these are some considerations if you want to look into which reporting solution will be as a data source for your SAP Analytics Cloud. Now, with in mind, in 15 minutes, I want to show some of the examples where we designed Crystal reports, or why we chose Crystal Report as a solution and not Web Intelligence for reports. So here is one of our city government reports. So this is like the tow vehicle certified letters, all the letters that you get from your city government when your trash can is out, or when your car is parked in a different area, or your car is towed, and then you get a letter for that. So this kind of pixel perfect report, when I say pixel perfect, I mean, these are letters that are refreshed via InfoBurst or through their application. And we need the address to be printed in an exact location by margin. That way, when the letter is printed and someone folds the letter, it has to fit in the envelope section where there's like a clear mark. That way, when it automatically goes into the cover or the envelope itself, the address is displayed for the postman to pick it up. So that level of perfection you can get only in like Crystal reports. So here, for example, we have like the hearing decision, and anything within a Crystal report, you have it organized as like groups, headers, details. So you have like a page header, you have like a report header, and then you design the different page numbers or the logic to the page numbers that you design. For example, in this particular report, we group this by a hearing notice. And as a batch printing, we print like hundreds of hearing notices for this particular report. But we don't want the page numbers to be 1 to 100 straight away from all the reports. We want the page number to be reset for like every hearing notice, for every customer, meaning every address. We want to reset the page numbers. So this sort of customized logic on like page numbers, your headers, your details, your footers, everything is possible only with Crystal reports. There's no way that you can create this sort of a report within Web Intelligence. And I'll show you another example for the Crystal itself, where I'm going to drag and drop certain things, and I'll even create a report. So here is the test report. I've removed the logos and everything for the customer, but here I have like certain objects I've pulled in, and then I want to create an invoice type of report where for like every invoice, it gives all the different objects. It gives like an invoice total for me. It gives the mail to, remit to addresses. And this is kind of an interactive report as well. But ideally, we want this to be mailed out or printed and delivered to the customers for like every single invoice. Now, for me to do this in Crystal, one of the few guidelines or the tips that I would do in Crystal designing is like, if you want to do like really pixel perfect, you have to use like rulers and guidelines. So here in the design way, I use a guideline section, and then I go here, then I can use the grid section. So I have the exact single thing where I have everything left aligned. And now if I have a change and if I have to move it, I use rulers where I can move everything and then things all move together. If I want to expand certain things or contract, I can do this with the help of rulers. And here on my left-hand side, I have my field explorer. Now, this is similar to the way that you pull in objects within Web Intelligence. I'm not going to show a demo of Web Intelligence. Most of you here know how Web Intelligence works. But what's interesting in Crystal is you can directly connect to the database itself. And similar to the freehand SQL that you do here, I can do a simple universe kind of thing. I can have all the joins and links that are related. So I can have like a certain link. I can do an inner join, left outer join, what type of link that I can do. I can connect to a stored procedure. I can do the same linking. I have all the tables over here. And I have it by group or the group expert as well. So if I go to my group expert, I can do a group by invoice. And then additionally, if I want to do a group by customer, I can add it to a second group. And within every single group, I have a multitude of options within Crystal. So here I can have a formula for like a group sort order. So you don't have to specify the sort order. Okay, I need the group to be sorted by customer name. You don't have to do that. Maybe we can customize it in a way that, okay, for these invoices, I want this to be sorted by division. For certain other type of invoices, we want it to be sorted by customer. So we can customize it using a formula on how you want to sort this particular report. And throughout Crystal report, you can go to every level and you can customize every single thing in a Crystal report, which is not really easy or not possible in Web Intelligence after a certain level. So here within a group level, you can have like, I can have my keep groups together. And now I want a new page after every invoice shows up. If you want to repeat the group header on each page. Now with the combination of all these options, you can really customize to a level that you can even print it for like hundreds or like thousands of pages, and it'll remove or it'll take the customization over here. Now, within the report itself, say I click on a right click on the group header, and then I go to my section expert. I see all my sections over here. I can move my sections over here, but like up and down. And for like every section that I click, I have options such as, do you want to hide this when the drill down is okay? Do you want to suppress this? Or do you want to suppress this based on a condition? So I want to suppress this whenever the Canadian template shows up, the Canadian addresses show up. You can suppress it based on that formula as well. You can suppress the blank section. And then under the paging, you can have like, okay, after every page, reset the page number after maybe like 10 groups, after a customer name is so-and-so. You can have a new page before or the default orientation. And then you can change it based on a color and a formula as well. So customizations are really key when you do like the pixel perfect reporting that we have over here. Okay. Now, there are drawbacks. I mean, if we compare head to head on Crystal, yes, we have like sorting, we have like grouping and all the other things. But the biggest plus in Web Intelligence is that you can create multiple report tabs. So for example, I'm going to log into one of my Webby reports. So here is an example of a Webby report. And by the way, Webby can be used in a browser. You don't need a separate client, but for Crystal report, to design a Crystal report, you need a desktop client that needs to be installed. So that comes with a separate license as well. So here, when I go to my design tab, I can drag in my objects, and everything here is similar to what you see in a Microsoft Office-based application. I can create multiple tabs. I can just place things wherever I want. I can build a page like a printed report as well with minimal functionality, but not exactly to the level that you see within Crystal report. Now, within Crystal report, we don't have the concept of tabs. It's only like one page that can be viewed offline, but there is a concept of sub-report where you can link one report to another report and pass values between one report to another. And we have designed something similar to our City of Yonkers client here as well, where we have a particular report which is not in any way related to the first object or the first primary report, but we can embed a sub-report within the main report. But for the end user, all the information is presented together. So that way you can achieve it, right? And then here within the report itself, I want to show the sorting expert. So we have a concept called as a record sort expert, where you can customize like, okay, how do you want the sorting to be done? You can have a sorting based on an object that doesn't exist within this report itself. And similar to Web Intelligence, you can create parameters, you can create formulas. Everything is exactly the same like how you would do in Web Intelligence. Just the methodologies or the way that you create in Crystal looks different. Okay, any questions so far? Any specific questions that you want to address? I mean, this is one of the topics that came from our BO community. So I'll be interested if there's anything specific that you guys are evaluating between Webby and Crystal. or let me even throw this question to the audience. Like, have you come across a situation where you have to decide between Webby and Crystal? Paul, your thoughts?
Well, I think, it's interesting to me because Crystal is embedded in so many applications. And because of that, I think that what you find is historically, you have all of these customers out there that are using Crystal, but they have no idea where it came from.
Right.
It's just there. It's almost like the ubiquitous report writing tool. So once it gets embedded in the application as its report writing tool, that's it, and so we see it in healthcare applications, we see it in education applications, we see it in public sector applications, we see it in financial applications. But all of these reports over the last 30, 40 years even have been created and are just critical to running people's businesses. I just got back from a visit to some clients up in Alaska. And one of the clients I visited was a hospital healthcare organization. And I said to them, how do you do your reporting? And they said, oh, it's Crystal Reports. And I said, well, who develops and manages the Crystal Reports? And the answer shocked me. They said, nobody here does. We just farm it out when we need to create one.
Right.
So, because which is quite fascinating. So the other side of the coin here is, has the Crystal Reports skill set become a lost art, a bit like COBOL programming? How many people are still experts in Crystal Reports? I see that Amanda from Maricopa County just put in, it's been years since I've written a Crystal report, but after seeing this side by side, I can see some uses for it. Okay, so Amanda, there's a great example. She hasn't written a Crystal report, right, in years. So I think it is a very, it continues to be a very interesting debate. And yourself, Rajesh, that we have clients who only use Crystal Reports and don't use any web intelligence at all.
Exactly. I mean, there is a perception that Crystal is kind of a legacy reporting tool, but that is completely not true, right? I mean, you can see that Crystal does things that none of the other tools, I'm not even talking about BusinessObjects or SAC or anything. I mean, it's not possible to even go to this level of modification or like the pixel perfect reporting that you do and customize. Like, for example, simple examples like, okay, I want this title to be shown only for certain things. I go here, I go to suppress, I create a formula. Okay, if my agency ID is 4, let's do this. And I've worked for customers, one of the biggest fleet management customer that I work out here in New Jersey. They have an SAP ERP solution, which does the invoices for them in the back end. But even SAP couldn't come up with a reporting solution, or how do I send this invoices to like hundreds or thousands of customers do we have? SAP did not have a solution. And they came to us, and now we're taking that data, taking that from their data warehouse, and we're building this invoice management or the billing system that's going to distribute like hundreds of thousands of things in like a proper format. And they want it to be in an exact format where clients need this in a format where it has to be bilingual. These column names should be changed. For Canada, the taxes are different. This level of customization, it's not possible in any other BI tool. And the biggest plus with Crystal is it can be a standalone system. They need not have any connection with BusinessObjects, and it can be embedded in a custom application like how we have it here. So these are some great use cases.
Yeah, that only emphasizes what I said about Crystal being a lost art. It seems to be a lost art to SAP themselves, who are the manufacturers of the product, or I should say the owners of the product. That they don't even know what what they have available to themselves.
Right.
But you know, the interesting thing is, I was talking to somebody from SAP in France in 2019 before COVID, and they told me that the number one selling product in all of SAP for the year 2019 was Crystal reports.
Right. I wouldn't be surprised.
Just in terms of quantity, the number of Crystal report developer licenses.
Yeah. Right. I think the cost of the entry cost is like really minimal if you want to start Crystal reports, something custom. I mean, you can have a Crystal reports server that can be a standalone Crystal server without web intelligence. So these are some other options as well. And I've given some more notes on what's coming with Crystal 2020 and to go around the benefits in a nutshell, right? Like, it improves productivity and efficiency with your professional reports that are pixel perfect, and plus it can be embedded into it. So as long as you have programmers who know .NET, Java, and then it comes with the Crystal Designer, you can embed Crystal reports natively, and you can maximize your return on investment by connecting this to BI Launchpad. So you design something for your custom application, you can use the same report published to BI Launchpad, and you can refresh it there as well. Now, web intelligence is meant for business analysts who just need to drill down to data. They want to connect different data sources, or the self-service BI is what the main target for the web intelligence audience over here. I've included some more references on what's coming with BI 4.3. And as you all know, with 4.3, there's more emphasis on web intelligence and the Fiori interface. There's going to be a steep learning curve for you to learn the new Webby Designer, all the new functionalities that are added in Webby, charting specifically, because now they're targeting towards the Webby as a dashboarding solution as well. So that's where there'll be a learning or a training that you need to take on web intelligence. And you can refer to some of our training schedule that will be showed by end of the session here as well. But with Crystal and BI 4.3, there's nothing that needs to be done on your end, because the Crystal viewer that's embedded in the Fiori Launchpad is going to be the same. So there's no difference in the way Crystal is going to be rendered within the BI 4.3 platform. Okay, so no additional training or anything needed for Crystal, but for web intelligence, there is a training that you would have to go through to learn your Webby Designer. With this, I come to the end of my session. I think I'm right on time. I'm here for any other questions that come my way.